I'm good. How are you?
Oh,
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I love
Yes, ma'am.
it becomes you. And welcome.
Okay, now look.
Thank you. Welcome to Stories and Storytelling. I'm Meredith McGee. I'm a publisher and acquisition editor, and I'm always interested in stories and talking about stories, and also we're interested in publishing new authors. We do children books, fiction, short story anthologies, biographies, memoirs, and some fiction. And can you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Lynette Stafford. I live in Greenville, Mississippi. I said I'm a teacher by day, and by night I have radio show. I perform in plays. I just try to do community-minded things. I enjoy people, and I enjoy meeting people.
Yes, and I've been on your show 4 times and getting ready for the 5th time next month. And as an author, to me, one of the most important and things that makes me feel so privileged was the fact that you actually read my book before you.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
That's very significant.
Right.
Because usually if an author goes somewhere, they may get some general questions, but you really asked tough questions. Well,
I think they were tough. I was asking follow-up because I read it. I read the material. Let me tell you, she didn't believe me. She didn't believe me.
And so
that's how we met.
And so tell us, how did you get? You are the Storybook lady. Perfect name for.
Oh wait a minute! I'm the magical. I'm the magical storybook lady.
Yeah, now tell us how you
What happened? Well, what happened was there was an article in the local paper, and they were going to open. The Delta Foundation was opening up a radio station, so I just thought I would stick my head in and see how it was going. And this was like in March of 2011. And I went in and I toured around, had never thought about being on the radio or anything like that. And on my way home, because I love reading, and I thought about maybe I could record stories for children. So that's how I got started. So that has not really taken off as well as I would like for it to be, because I started doing other things. I do Sunday school lesson. Then I have a show where I do record authors. So that's how you and I became friends. And then I became, met your mom and met some of the people who you publish. And so that's how it started. But I would love to go back to reading stories, and I would like to have them with sound effects and really make it interesting for children.
Yes. Now,
and young people, kids, not little kids. Mm-hmm.
You work for the Delta Foundation, and tell us a little bit about the history of the Delta Foundation.
Okay, now I was telling Meredith, we're getting ready to have a 50th celebration. So it was like April of '69, and they were chartered in like September of '69. And I don't want to go a whole lot into the history part, but I am part of the history committee. So I'm going to start looking through minutes and things like that and build the history. Now, by the time we have our program in August, I'll be able to tell you everything about the Delta Foundation. But I want to tell you that I read the mission. So the mission statement says, the mission of Delta Foundation is to provide community and economic development activities for poor, mostly minority families, businesses, and communities. This mission is undertaken to eliminate poverty within the Delta region. And if you have a book, I do CDs. If you have a play, if you have a manuscript, if you have a story that you want to tell, you can mail it to me, the Magical Storybook Lady, or Lynette Stafford, to the Delta Foundation 819 Main Street, Greenville, Mississippi, 38701. And the number is 662-335-5291. I take all kinds of stories. I do anything, music, anything.
Can you repeat that address?
819 Main Street, Greenville, Mississippi, 38701. And there is a ma'am.
Is there a website?
Yes, I'm going to www.wdsv919fm.org. And we're also on Facebook.
Okay. And the radio dial is what? Say the radio dial for
91.9. Yes.
FM.
Now 91.9 FM. Mm-hmm.
So you've been doing this 7 years. You've been a radio person?
Well, probably, yes. Like from the time I started, really, 8. Because I really started when the radio station started. So we've done, I've done like I said, the Sunday school lesson. I've talked to, artists. We've done artist spotlights. Just a couple of times we were there doing elections, trying to get live information in. So we're trying to, make it grow. And we have different personalities, and we're always looking for new people.
Okay, so let me ask you this: about how many authors do you think you have interviewed in 8 years?
I can't even tell you. I just don't know. I have interviewed people who have had some funny stories, some stories that are not so funny, but they're true stories. And one thing I do is I like to let people tell their story. I don't judge your story. So if a person doesn't know me, they come in and they're kind of apprehensive because people judge their stories. I'm not judging your story. I'm letting you tell your story. And so they see that really I am interested in your story. I'm not in there to tell you, I don't know why you stay with that. It's to let you tell your story, let you get your music out, let you get your manuscript out. I have interviewed people who have given me manuscripts to read who have gone on to publish, or who have different, hobbies, interesting ideas, people who, who work in government or who have businesses. I try to be diverse.
Now, you told me that you don't necessarily have a favorite author, but what are the favorite kind of books that you like the kinds of books that you like to read?
Well, let me tell you what I don't like to read, and that's a short list. Gory stuff, and one night I read a scary story, and it was in the house by myself, and boy, it was so good. But when I finished, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, so I had a tough night sleeping, but I made it through.
So that's what you.
So I'll try if you right. I don't like the gory stuff. With the slashing and the killers and stuff, but I don't read like true stories. I've started reading a true story today, and I didn't realize it was a true story when I first read the excerpt, and I was rooting for the character, and then when I found out that it was a real story, then it just crushed my heart because the character I was rooting for did not make it through that scene, and then I found out that it was a true story, so that just kind of crushed my spirit. But I started reading the book today.
Oh yeah. And
I don't have an author. I don't have whoever I'm reading. That's who I'm liking at that moment. Okay. And of course, you never get enough time to read.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: in your opinion, as a person who is well read, what do you think makes a good story?
Well, I appreciate it. I don't think I'm well read, but I do like to read. A good story. It has to have some type of hook, and I don't know, it just has to be like just draws you in. It's like you're there witnessing. Because I like history. I can read romance. I can read some adventure. I read kids books. I don't know. You just have to have some type of hook. to make people want to read more. I read to some students today, and we got so caught up that I had to really stop. I had to make myself stop because they were like, okay, well, what happened? I said, okay, well, we eventually had to stop. I said, we'll pick it up tomorrow. So that was good because it was like we wanted to know what's going to happen next instead of saying, well, okay, you know what? A good story is not predictable. If it's predictable, then I'm kind of losing interest. But if it can tell me, make me want to say, well, what's happening next, or what happened with this character, what happened with this situation, it gets me.
Well, as a radio personality, what would you say would have been some of your most memorable interviews?
I can't call it. I'm wrapped in every interview. I really am. I am wrapped up in every interview, whether you're telling me your story, whether one interview I had, it was a recording artist, local recording artist. So we were talking about it, and I hit a note from the CD. They said she was listening. I said, I told you, I'm going to know your music when I interview you. So not only do I read the books, but I listen to the music, and then I try to go to the liner notes, and I try to figure out what were you thinking when you wrote this note, or what was going on in your life, because every song has a story. Every poem has a story. And my goal is to let you tell your story.
That's right. Well, let me ask you this. What's next for you as a radio personality, and what are some of your goals?
Well, and thank you for calling me a radio personality. I just love what I do. I would like to learn how to do podcasting, because hubby and I, we get on the road and we travel around. Now, we hadn't been able to go out west yet because he can't get 2 weeks off at one time. But we get on the road and we visit different places. And I would love to be able to record people where I find them. And that would make it easier. Now, one time I was in Detroit and I recorded an author in Mississippi while I was sitting at my sister's kitchen table in Detroit. One time I recorded somebody in Mississippi. We were in Lawrence, Kansas, heading to a presidential museum, but our vehicle, you can hear the radio, you can hear the phone through. So I interviewed an author while I was riding in my truck going to a historic site. So I would like to be able to do podcasting so then I can start to make me more mobile. And see, it may be a time that I can't get into the radio station or that person can't come, but we can go somewhere else, come to my home, their home, or go somewhere and record, or when I'm on the road, I can record. Because I run up on people all the time.
Let me ask you this. You grew up in Detroit, and the
yes.
one high school that I remember from Detroit is Central High School, because during segregation, my uncle Everett went to Central High School. That's a famous high school because Cooley High was filmed there. Now tell me, is that high school, has it been preserved, or what happened to that building?
I can't tell you, but what I can do is I can ask my folks, or it's when I go back home again. So you're gonna make me go look for it to see, and maybe see it, go research a little history. And
what high school did you graduate from, and what year?
Cass Tech.
You said what now?
I said whatever year makes me 21.
Oh, okay. So what's the name of the high school?
No, I did. I came out of Cass Tech.
Okay.
Cass Technical High School.
What side of Detroit was that?
So what now?
What side of Detroit was that?
That was downtown. That was a college prep school. That was near downtown, pretty much downtown. That was a college prep school. So that school took in students from all over the city.
Oh, I see. It's like advanced. Okay, so do you have any? You have any final thoughts for the interview?
Well, I have enjoyed. I'm going to interview you too. You and I, we chit chat, and then your mama's my friend, and I met some of your friends, and then we're going to get together and do some other things. Cause talk about how you're coming to Greenville to talk about some books and things that you have going on.
Right. Me, Meredith Coleman McGee. I'm the author of 5 books, and we have published some books. So Mary Harrison Coleman, she's a history maker. She's coming.
Mm-hmm.
The name of her book is Married, Story, and Song. She became the first Black licensed barber in the state of Mississippi in 1960. She's also a recorded artist, and she's been a gospel singer for over 50 years. And also,
okay,
you endorsed his book, and he's published 2 of his novellas, Reverse Guilty Plea and The New Populist Party. And then my mother is the author of several children's books about her brother, James Meredith, who integrated University of Mississippi. And she's going to be presenting My Brother J Boy, which is a 100-page illustrated children's book about them growing up on a farm in Atala County, central Mississippi. And she's also going to bring her great-granddaughter's book, which is Saving the Manatees. And that is a story that my great-niece wrote when she lived in Pensacola, Florida. And she heard about the manatees that, they usually swim, they're real large, near the shoreline, being hurt and dying from boats. So she started a club, and Saving the Manatees club, and she wrote a story about it. At the end of her story, it's illustrated, of course. It's a coloring and activity book. At the end, the child can practice writing their name in cursive, write down and also write the sight words. And so it's a.
Well, I had to get a copy of that for my grandbaby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because children from age 5 on up, we even had a 18-year-old who graduated a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, from high school, to use it to teach himself how to write his name in cursive, because we have thousands who did not, they go to Jackson Public School System, did not get the opportunity to learn how to write in cursive. But they brought cursive writing.
Well, they took it out of the curriculum.
Right, and a lot of places
they brought it back.
Testing, which is making somebody some money, but it's not good for the students, Well,
grandbaby love it. I don't know that he quite knows what it is, but he says one of his things is going to be as a marine biologist, and he took swim lessons last year, and we're taking him to the beach this year. So he likes the water. So this is going to be perfect for him. And we will meet before we take him to the beach. So you make sure you bring a copy so I can buy a copy.
Okay, yeah. Our mama's going to bring them with them, have them at her part of the table. And we're going to be at the book gallery. And we love the book gallery. And the book gallery loves us. It's a wonderful bookstore downtown.
Yes.
Now, tell us, I pronounce that name. The street is on. What street is the book gallery on? Theobald, right.
Theobald Street.
Which is off of Main Street, right?
Down Theobald and Clay.
Okay, Theobald and Clay.
I don't know the address, but Theobald and Clay, right.
Okay. And for people that may be interested in learning more about our online bookstore, they can visit Meredith, etc., MEREDITH, and you can give your information one more time before we sign out. And thank you so much for such a wonderful interview. I look forward to you interviewing me too. Us.
Well, bless you.
Okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Delta Foundation, 819 Main Street, Greenville, Mississippi, 38701. Now, if you mail me a manuscript, a book, a CD, anything, please put your contact information. Somebody left me a book and with no contact information. I have no clue who left that for me. And if you have an idea, just mail it to me. If you want me to call you, just contact me. I will call you. The number is 335-5291. Now, that is not my personal number, but that is the number to the Delta Foundation building. And if you call and leave a message, I'll get it. We have a Facebook page. Contact me. Let me hear your story. I'm piling up. I'm trying to do a lot of recording over the summer, so that at least maybe by August I can start back running my show. If not before, because I have some books some authors ready to record. And I know we have you coming, so we're gonna have that's a 2-week thing. So there's gonna be 4 people coming. We're gonna interview 2 for one show, and then 2 more for another show. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we look forward to.
And you've been doing with the library. You've been doing things, trying to get the library up and running.
Yes, ma'am. It is our goal. Mm-hmm. We just incorporated the Community Library of Mississippi, and it is our goal to start neighborhood community libraries. The first one is going to be in South Jackson, and then we want them to be integrated as other groups emerge in other parts of the city. And the long-term goal is for them to be all over the state, because we want community libraries are normally small places, usually in a house or in a reading room, and it engages kids, increases literacy, and it's used based on walk-in traffic. In other large areas, the community libraries attract kids who are walking home from school. And then they have Saturday programs. There's one Hispanic community library, and their whole focus is to teach Hispanic history. And our focus is going to be to teach culture, history, but mainly reading. And similar to the Freedom Schools of 50 years ago, where the entire family was reading. We have a book club, the Learning Tree Book Club, and our members are from a range in age from 6 to 60 plus. And we spend 1 hour and a half together on first Saturdays at the Jackson Medical Mall reading. And I have to tell you a story. One day, it was about 12 or 14 of us. We put the tables together near Subway, and we were sitting there, and the adults were reading either magazines or newspaper, and the children were reading books. And some people passed by, several couples, and they just had to come back. And they said that they were so amazed, because it is very seldom that they see a group of Black people sitting somewhere reading. And this is an intellectual revolution, because we're trying to the intellect of our people, because that's something that has not been done so effectively, and people are not using libraries.
People need to model reading.
Now, what'd you say, Lynette? What'd you say, Lynette?
I'm sorry. I said people need to model reading. People need to model reading. Your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and nephews and other children, will read if they see you read. If you talk about you don't like reading, that's planting that negative seed about reading. But if they see that you're reading and you're providing books, and if you can't pay $25 for a book, I understand that. But the library has books for free.
Right. And also, you can, I tell parents all the time, I mean, you can go to a Dollar Tree and get all kinds of books for $1. They even have they're selling books for $1 at Dollar Trees, and the book.
That's true.
Investment. So buy some book gifts for Christmas. It's worth the investment. And one of the main things that we like to spread is the idea that every family needs a children's dictionary. I was talking to a young man a few days ago, and he told me he was taking a GED class at Jackson State. And he said he's doing pretty good in math, but he's not doing so well in the reading area. And I said, well, I tell you what, you just got to start back to basics. Go and get you a simple children's dictionary, which breaks down the sentence, gives you a simple sentence, and just learn, because that's how Malcolm X learned. He used the dictionary. So sometimes it's not that hard. We have to be motivated to self-educate ourselves and just practice what works. And those are the kinds of things that works.
And there are free books at the library that you can take home. The least library here, people donate books or magazines, and you can take books. They used to sell them for like hardback a quarter and paperback a dime. Now they're just free.
A lot of libraries give out the free books. They sure do. A lot of them give out.
Some they have gift cards.
Some of them give them out. That's true. That's true.
But
it's a good thing. Anytime you're reading and feeding your intellect and the intellect of the children and the family, it's a good thing, because it helps with testing, and it also helps academically. Yeah. So, well, I guess we better close now, and I'll see you in a few weeks in Greenville, Mississippi.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. Thanks
for having me.
Have a wonderful night.
You too, huh?
Okay, then.
Bye-bye.